So the play started on December 26, 1993, when the Packers were playing against the visiting Los Angeles Raiders. Yes, the Raiders were in Los Angeles before they were in Oakland and now Vegas. But on a second down swing pass to Randy Jordan, LeRoy Butler tackled and forced a fumble on him, in which Reggie White scooped it up, ran it 10 yards from about the 35-yard line to the 25-yard line, and before he fell to the ground, he lateraled it back to the awaiting number 36 Butler, who then ran it the next 25 yards into the touchdown, or into the end zone, and then after the touchdown ran into past the end of the goal line into the stands and jumped spontaneously into the awaiting arms of the fans and everybody in the south bleachers. The Packers went on to win 28-0 and clinch a playoff berth, but it was the beginning of what will be known as the Lambeau Leap for a guy who now is in the Packers Hall of Fame, LeRoy Butler. I know, a funny joke kind of, before a game back in the early 90s, Edgar Bennett told John Madden that LeRoy's name was LeRoy Butler. So for one of those games, Madden was really pronouncing the LeRoy Butler instead of the LeRoy that his mother emailed Madden and told her that it was. Pretty funny story, something that Madden would do, no doubt. And I'm super excited to be able to talk about LeRoy Butler being in the Hall of Fame. He was a big part of me growing up, me becoming a Packers fan, just the early 90s of what the Packers were after, the 60s of dominance and then the 70s and 80s of nothingness. The 90s started with LeRoy Butler being drafted 48th overall in the second round out of Florida State. The safety was a fast kind of, ball handler. He played for, head coach Bobby Bowden at Florida State. So after 3 years, he was drafted, and he was kind of the beginning piece of all of what became the Packers of the early 90s. Obviously, they traded for Brett Favre, I think, in 92, and then they got Reggie White right around that time as well. In the free agency, they were able to get the big Philadelphia Eagle defensive end to come here. And we had drafted Sterling Sharpe out of South Carolina, who was one of my favorite players growing up. He led the NFL in touchdowns twice, 18 one year and 14 the another year. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He is one of the most dynamic, dominant receivers that I've ever seen play. Some of those games against the Lions where you just see Favre kind of running around and then throwing it up, and who is it too? Sharpe, who's just wide open in the end zone sometimes. So he was a great player, and it's just such a bummer he got injured. I really liked watching Shannon Sharpe and kind of getting to know him and just hearing about Sterling here and there. But Sterling to me was a guy that really developed my love of football, and I played receiver when I played, so it was pretty awesome that he was here for so long and did so well. But other guys like Robert Brooks came around. He was a guy that I liked a lot until his knee messed up. But the defense of the Packers in the 90s was what was so dominant. I know the Packers, when they won the Super Bowl it was 97, the 96 season, Super Bowl 31, they had the most dominant defense with Gilbert Brown in the middle, Satana Dotson, Sean Jones, Reggie White, George Kuntz, Bernardo Harris. This is just coming off of my head. Craig Newsome. I know Mike Pryor was back there. And then LeRoy Butler. Wow, those names all just came by. Boom, 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 boom. So, pretty cool. But yeah, so LeRoy Butler, he came in 1990. They won the Super Bowl, obviously, in 96, after the 96 season, in January 97, January 26th. And remember that, of course. I remember the Pack Arena. If anybody knows about that, if you don't, look up what the Pack Arena was. Kind of funny. But, the Packers won that year. They hadn't won since the 60s, since Super Bowl 1 and 2, and this was number 31. So huge deal for Green Bay, huge deal for the Packers. Obviously, with Brett Favre, Reggie White, LeRoy Butler, was Mike Holmgren. It was just a huge time for us. And LeRoy actually had his own success. He wasn't just the creator of the Lambeau Leap, which I think is just such a cool feat. And obviously he's 54 years old now, so it's just the fact that it's lived on this long since he did it, since he started it. It's going to be 30 years, I guess, next year then, if I have that. Yeah, 30 years next year. So that's pretty awesome. That's just kind of amazing, and pretty much it's going to go on forever. No other teams really do it. Some teams kind of try it or whatever, try to mock us, and sometimes the guys jump in, but no one's got the Lambeau Leap. That's basically just the Packers thing. Technically, I think it's actually not allowed. It's a fine. It's a flag. You can't really, interact with fans like that. You can't jump in the stands. So, but because it's Green Bay, it's kind of grandfathered in as it's allowed, and it's just it's just an awesome thing. And for LeRoy to have that, to have the Super Bowl, he didn't have 10 Pro Bowls. He had 4 Pro Bowls, 93, 96, 97, 98. He was named All-Pro 4 times as well, which, that's huge. That means he's voted the best safety, pretty much. He was named to the 1990s NFL All-Decade Team, and now the Hall of Fame. He was in the Packers Hall of Fame since 2007, and so now he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. He's got a bust down there. It's awesome for him and for Packers and for fans like me and just everybody, because he was a guy that just did it the right way. He was drafted by the Packers. He stuck around in the 90s, 91, 92, 93. I mean, we had a few down years with McCaskey or whatever. Then when Favre came in, things kind of changed a little bit. But winning that Super Bowl for him, obviously it was huge. The personal success he had, he had it early on in 93, but then 96, 97, 98, those Packers Super Bowl years were 96, 97. So, his success kind of came with team success. That defense was so dominant too, but just really, really awesome to see him finally get the recognition he deserves. Like I said, I wish Sterling would as well. I think Sterling has probably 4 Pro Bowls also, so something to look into for Hall of Fame voters. But anyway, this is about LeRoy and the Lambeau Leap and his Hall of Fame. So he played, he had 953 tackles, 38 interceptions, 553 return yards. That 38 interceptions is huge. That's a lot of picks over 12 seasons, so it's that's a couple a year. I know he had he got injured in like 2001 when he tackled Maurice Smith, the Atlanta Falcons running back, if anybody remembers him, and he had to retire. So it just didn't heal right, and he was done. So 12 seasons is a long time, but now these guys are playing longer than that. And back then, it's interesting. I saw these numbers. In 1997, he was signed a 5-year, $15 million contract with a $5 million signing bonus. Nowadays, that's that's not much, and the 5 years kind of a long one. So you're like, oh, okay, Nowadays, for a safety like that, it'd probably be closer to like 60 to 75 mil. And then he signed an extension in '99 for 3 years, $21.5 million with a $1.63 million signing bonus. So it just shows how far the NFL has come, even in 20 years or so, and the fact that obviously Butler's done well for himself in the business world and outside of football and everything, but his performance in the league and on the Packers was unquestionable. He was a lifelong Packer, which obviously people like me and other Packer fans love. Everything he did for the community, everything he's done for the team itself, and just the fact that he's so involved still with Green Bay and everything. I really just wanted to, shout him out and give him support, because he was such a fixture in my Packer fandom growing up, and my current Packer fandom and everything that goes along with it. I really like to see guys that you don't really think are going to get the recognition. He was a guy that, I really liked. I thought he was super good. I just, I guess growing up I didn't know he had the 4 All-Pros. I know he made some Pro Bowls, but I didn't know it was 4 as well. So the fact that he did have those accolades go along with the team success shows that he should have been voted, but you just don't think some of these guys will be, just because it seems like it's kind of tough to get in. There's guys that you think would be in there that aren't, and guys that are in there that you might not think should be in there. So just awesome to see that LeRoy made it, and I just wish him nothing but the best, and awesome to represent the Packers this way, because there's 32 teams now, and we just keep adding guys to the Hall of Fame. So it just shows what kind of organization the Green Bay is, and we know that there's guys that are playing now or that have played recently that are probably going to make it as well too. So that's awesome. But all right, guys, that's it. Peace out. See you in the next one.